guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is very exciting because today I'm going to be reviewing the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette, which is this beauty right here. Now I wanted to let you know this is not a first impressions video because I've had this baby for a little bit over a week now and I've been testing it and doing different looks with it because I want to give you guys a very honest review on what I think of it. Basically, we all know the Subculture palette, which was the last Anastasia release, like before this one, was a little bit of a flop. I didn't buy it, so I can't like review it for you guys because I played with it at work and I wasn't impressed. Now I know that the shades are very loose and very pigmented and I can work with that, that's fine. The problem with that one is when blending it, some of the colors don't blend with one another and it kind of turns a little bit muddy on me, so that's why I decided to pass on that one. But this one, however, is a little bit of a different story. This one I like a lot more. This is what the palette looks like once it's out of the box. It is like a really nice velvety black palette, and then this is the inside of it. Ooh. Like any other Anastasia palette, this palette comes with this double-ended brush, which we'll get into whether or not I like this one in a moment. But basically here are the shades. When I first looked at this palette online, I wasn't sure how all of these shades were going to work together, because if you look at them, it's quite a random selection of things. But I have made it work for a lot of different looks, which makes me think that it's a very versatile palette. For instance, one of my favorite things to do is combining, like, and this is the easier option, is combining Unity, Eden, and Parallel for the crease colors. And then we had Lure right here, which I thought was kind of odd because obviously it goes very well with the color Osiris or Dimension here, but I didn't know what other crease shades per se to combine them to. So I'll show you guys today. I do have it on my crease and I have combined it with Unity and with Obsidian right here, which is just really pigmented black. And I think it works just fine. I really like the way it looks. I had played with this palette quite a bit throughout this week. So today, when I sat to film this video, I looked at the colors and every single color that I didn't think I had used yet, I made sure to use on my eyes today because I want to give you guys a true review of every single shade and I didn't want to have any surprises, you know? If you like playing with colors and experimenting with your look, this is going to be a palette you enjoy. However, if you are more of a neutral shades kind of girl, then this might not be the palette for you because it has so many different colors that I don't think you're going to get use out of. For me, so far, I have been liking it. Alright, so let's get into the swatches. Okay, so from the top row, this is the first color right here. The name of this shade is Lucid. Let's do a little bit of a second one right there. I then have Eden right here. And then the color Unity, which is this very pale mustardy shade. So these are the first three shades in the palette. Okay, so following those three shades, we have the colors Sphinx, Osiris, and Sphere, which the first two are very nice metallic shade, and then the third one is a matte yellow shade. It kind of looks like the color of a highlighter. Alright, and then the last color on the top row is this color right over here, which is called Obsidian, and as you can see is a very pigmented black shade. Alright, so moving on to the second row, we have the color Dimension, which is this beautiful metallic like lilac purple shade. We then have the color Parallel, which is a really pretty warm brown, and third, we have the color Pyramid, which is a really pretty metallic gold, as you can see there. Alright, so following those shades, we have this color right here called Throne, which is a beautiful like green emerald shade. We then have the color Saturn, Saturn, yes, which is this like beautiful burnt orangey kind of shade. And following that one we have Eternal, which is this beautiful metallic orange coppery shade that you see right here. All three of these colors are amazing. And then the last color on the palette is this beautiful pale purpley matte shade that is called Lure. Alright guys, so those were the swatches. As you can see, every single shade in there is really pigmented. And I'm going to cut to a little clip where I show you how I did this eye look that you're seeing today. I basically did it with this amount of colors because I wanted to make sure that every single color in the palette was being used. And I had used every single color in the palette before I gave you guys a review on it so that I can tell you how every single shade performs. And as far as the brush is concerned, you're going to see how I did this whole eye look using only this brush that Anastasia gives you in the palette, because I think this brush is just fantastic and you can get so much done with it, and it is such a it's so great that you get it in this little palette. I don't think I mentioned this before, but the palette retails for $45, just the same price as the rest of the Anastasia palettes. It comes with 14 shades and the brush, which is an amazing deal if you guys think about it, especially in comparison to other palettes on the market that have similar quality to Anastasia shadows. So let's cut to the little tutorial. Alright guys, so let me show you what I'm doing. The first thing I do is I'm going to grab this color right here called Unity, and this is going to be my transition shade for this eye look. So this is the brush that the palette comes with, and I'm grabbing this right here, which is a blending side, and I am grabbing the color Unity and running this from the outer to the inner corner of the eye. I did like 2 or 3 different dips to get it to this level of intensity, and I'm just leaving a little bit of space right underneath my brow for any like future brow highlight that I want to do. But this is what the color Unity looks all over the crease of my eye. So then next I'm going to grab this color right over here, which is called Lure, and I'm going to put this color also in the crease of my eye, also using the same brush from Anastasia. I'm just not going to make it as high as the first color. I'm going to put it more so in the crease of the eye, but not as blown out as the first shade. So just make sure that as you're blending one color into the other. And you see how that just helps create a little bit of depth. This palette has a little bit of fallout, but nothing, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. Just sort of like modern Renaissance. If you have that palette, that's the amount of fallout that this palette will have as well. Alright, so I'm happy with these colors and how they're blending into each other. So then I'm going to use the other side of the brush, which is a little bit more compact. And I'm going to grab this color right here, Obsidian, which is a black shade. And I'm going to put this one on the outer corner of the crease of my eye. So I dipped my brush in there. This is a very pigmented color. And this is one of the colors that I hadn't played with yet. So I'm going to grab the blending side one more time, and I'm going to work that black shade into the crease of the eye. And for this, I just do little circles around the area that I'm trying to blend so that it blends easily into the other shades that I had there before. Also feel free to go into the other shades, like right now I went into the color Lure to make sure that that I don't lose those shades and that they all blend together. So now I'm going back to the color Unity and one more time bringing that one to life. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Again, I'm doing everything using the same brush. And in between shades, if I think I need to clean it a little bit, I'm cleaning it in a towel. See, in this side, because I already knew what to expect from that black shade and knew how pigmented it is, I haven't had as much trouble as I did with this one, because in this one I put way too much on. So now they are very pigmented shadows, especially that black. So I'm having to add a little bit more of the black now so that it matches this side. Alright, so I feel like that now looks very similar. So then with my same Anastasia brush, I'm going to grab the flatter side right here one more time, which I wiped off on my towel. And I'm going to grab the color Sphinx right here. And I'm going to put this one on the outer, probably outer half of my eyelid. Just like that. And I'm not having any problem applying it with the brush, but I think if I press it with my finger, it'll give me a little bit more pigment. Maybe not. I don't know if you guys noticed any difference. I didn't much. So then I'm going to grab this color right here, Pyramid, and I'm going to put that one on the inner half of my eyelid. And I'm doing everything with this little brush because I want you guys to see how versatile the little brush that comes in the Anastasia palette is. Like, honestly, no other palette has a brush as good as the one that comes in this one. I don't like the brush that comes in the Naked palettes. I don't like the brush that comes in any other palette, really. As much as I like the ones that come in the little Anastasia palettes, because you can get so much use out of them. So that's the shadow by itself. I am going to put a little bit of setting spray on the brush now, just to see if it makes it even more pigmented, although this is really nice and pigmented already. So with the same brush, of course, I'm going to reapply Pyramid. Yeah, it makes it a little bit more metallic, which is nice. Alright, I'm happy with that. That looks really pretty. Alright, so one more time, I cleaned the little brush in my dry towel, and I'm going to do the underneath part of the eyes now. So I'm going to do this color right here called Throne, and I'm going to smoke it out with Sphere right here and see how that looks. So with my little brush again, I'm going to just dip the little tip of the brush on the color Throne, and we're going to put it underneath the eye. So now I'm going to dip the tip of my blending brush into the color Sphere and run it right underneath. Alright, so just like that. And now the final step is I'm going to grab the color Lucid, which is this beautiful color right here that looks white in the pan, but it has actually a reflect that's really gorgeous. And we're going to put that in the inner corner of the eye. Again, using the brush. I'm not going to use any other brush in this tutorial. When I first started the tutorial, I thought I might need to pull other brushes to do specific things, but can you stop scratching? Thank you. I love you. When I first started this tutorial, I thought that I would need to maybe use other brushes at some point so that I could make it look the way I wanted it to look. But this brush has worked for everything. So honestly, if you don't have a lot of makeup brushes, but you love makeup and, you know, are wondering whether this palette is good and are wondering how you're going to apply it or whatever, this is a great brush and you can do a lot of different looks with it. So I think this is the final look. I'm not going to put anything else on because it looks very dramatic already. Let's cut back to Future Patricia. Alright, so that is how I achieved this look. As you can see, that brush, you can use it for everything really. And it's really, really nice that it comes in the palette. The first eye, when I was doing it, I had a little bit of trouble blending the black shade into the colors, but that is because I put so much of it and I didn't realize it was such a pigmented black. Again, before I tried the black on today, I hadn't even swatched it, so I didn't know how pigmented that black was. And sometimes you get used to blacks that are not as pigmented and you have to put a little bit more color in there. So that's what I did, and so that's why I had to go back with the other two colors again, because I thought that I had lost them in the process of blending out that black. But when I did my second eye, it was a lot easier because I didn't put as much of that black color in there, so it was a lot easier to blend the shades. Overall, this was kind of a crazy look just because I wanted to use so many different shades to show you guys, but I am digging it. It looks really good. I do like that color. I do like the color Sphere underneath the eye to blend out that green emerald shade. I think it looks really pretty. Overall, I think Anastasia brought her game back with this palette. I do think it's worth it. I really love the shades. It's very versatile. And there's no need to reach for any other shades that aren't in this palette to create a full eye look, which is very important to me because when I buy a palette, I want to create a whole look with it without having to reach for anything else. And this palette, even though it has such a like random selection of colors, you can still achieve that. Alright guys, so don't forget to please give my video a thumbs up before you leave, and also subscribe to my channel. If you want to see the fabulous pictures I'm about to post with this eye look on my Instagram is Patty C. Alonso, the way it's written here. And you can also follow me on Twitter and Snapchat with the same handle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!